As it turned out, the speaker was only there to push a peace plan. Talks have all but broken down, and now war is looming between the forces in Mogadishu and the official government. And that's drawn neighbouring Ethiopia into the battle over the future of Somalia. The Ethiopians have massive troop numbers, aircraft and heavy weapons. They've declared war on the Islamic courts, who are now rallying support for jihad, or holy war.
It's quite an electrifying, wild atmosphere in Mogadishu at the moment. All the time there are groups going off to the front line. They're not armed with anything more than their devotion to Islam and a few machine guns.
Hatreds between Muslim Somalia and Christian-led Ethiopia go back centuries. A fresh clash of civilizations now threatens to engulf the Horn of Africa.
The Islamic court militias have had the power to mobilize Somalis in a very effective way because they can appeal to their sense of nationalism because Ethiopian soldiers are on Somali soil. And that mixed together with the militant Islam that has restored law and order to Mogadishu makes for a very potent mix.
Some of the fighters being thrown into the holy war are so elderly that they wouldn't look out of place on the set of Dad's army.
These are old veteran soldiers from a government that fell 16 years ago, and they're being thrown into the jihad again to help the Islamic court forces. You're an elderly man. Why are you in uniform going off to fight? This man says he put on his uniform to defend Somali nationalism. He was in the war against Ethiopia that took place in 1977, and he says that he's going back to fight against the Ethiopians to defend his people and his religion and his country.
We were taken up to the front line where the Islamic forces are squaring up to the government and the Ethiopian army. We were the first Western journalists allowed to travel up to this front. Many of the Islamic fighters, Shabab extremists, were angry to see us Westerners in their midst. But luckily, we were with Abu Mansour, a Shabab leader.
Yeah, that's right. That's your son, isn't it, Abu Mansour? He's a 12-year-old boy. What's he doing here?
Abu Mansour says that his two sons came to the front line for jihad, fulfilling a wish he had when they were born.
Abu Mansour says that they will achieve an Islamic state. They will be ruled by the Quran. And even if the Americans destroy the words of the printed Quran, they are imprinted on the hearts of the Muslims, such as his son Mansour. All of these are the young Shabab militias. We're right on the front line. This is an anti-aircraft gun. We're well within range of the Ethiopian-backed government forces. I've actually never seen Somali fighters so focused on what their objectives are.
Back in Mogadishu, for the first time in their lives, these kids are enjoying peace. But that might be short-lived as war and famine loom again. Why? The West refuses to engage with the Islamists despite their control of the capital. It has sided with the Ethiopian-backed government instead. Already, fighting has broken out on the front lines.
Today, in this post-9/11 world, there's an Islamic revolution taking place here in Mogadishu. It was the Islamic courts, not the Americans or the United Nations, that ended the anarchy and began to re-establish the economy. But now Somalia sits at a crossroads, and there are fears of a fresh, terrible regional conflict, and also of the more extreme elements in the Islamic courts wanting to export jihad.
هو تقانا كن وادوا اسكفاليغان إلى شاه هو تقانا كن وادوا اسكفاليغان إلى شاه أبو ويتري أبا يعني